All right, good evening. Good evening, everyone. We are live once again. It's me, your host, MJ from TriviaMystery.com, ready for another fun trivia stream. We are now episode 8, 9, something like that. It's been a fun couple of months. Oh, definitely somewhere, or maybe just somewhere in the middle. Good to have you back, guys. Always great to see returning quizzes, especially hello. All right, so as usual, we'll go through. Hello, hello. Okay, everyone, the chat's very active. That's great. We'll run through the rounds that we have in store for you tonight, while we're waiting for any later teams to filter in. So as always, starting off with some general knowledge. We'll see. We'll see. Fell short of that mark last week. Okay, then invention conventions. Hey, lots of people in. That's great. Round 3, final curtains. Round 4, opposites attract. Guess which was Jessica's favorite graphic to make this week? Thank you for the velvet curtain in the graphic and the velvet curtain behind me. They match. It's better than the baked bean, isn't it? All right, then the next round is the man in the medical mask. Something we've all seen a lot of this year. Then 5-minute drafts. I think you can probably get just a guess roughly what's going to be going on in that round. Then butts and stuff. Butts. And closing out with general knowledge. As always, this week, the second general knowledge round is going to have a light Advent theme. We're not quite ready for a Christmas special, but we're starting to feel a bit festive. So a light Advent theme to that second round of general knowledge this evening. All right, so judging by how active the chat is, we've got definitely a few teams in and ready to go already. You got your team names submitted. Make sure they're in so we can get you into the scoreboard and ready to go. As always, you do have to enter your team name every round so we can keep track. Also, your answers are not locked in until you hit submit. So if you need anything repeated, just say it in the chat, and Jessica can highlight comments in case I don't see it. So one of us will catch it, and I'll repeat anything that needs repeating. So you don't have to worry about that. And when you think you've got your best guess, hit submit to get your answers in. Some of these rounds where there's a bit more of a thinker, we might have to stick 30-second timer up, and just hit if we do that, just hit submit at the end of the 30 seconds, just with whatever you have entered. All right. So as always, I've got a different Romanian beer every week so far. This week it's Azuga. It's from Prahova County, which is just north of Bucharest, just north of here. Brewery there since 1870, almost went bust about 10 years ago, but Ursus bought it. Ursus own like half the beers that we've had on so far. They're like the Coca-Cola of Romanian beer. Anyway, or the Romanian. I don't know what that. What's it called? Anheuser-Busch, but there's a bigger one. Diageo, the one that owned Guinness. All right. So I think that's enough time for. little bit of jitters. Yeah, all right, we're back to normal. All right, yeah. So, if any last minute registrations happen during like round one, I'll repeat the round at the end. So, question one, or round one, as always, it's general knowledge. And question one is a poll this year found that what was the most popular dog breed in the UK, not including mutts and mixed breeds? Mythos beer. Never had it. I never really pegged Greece as a big beer country. Definitely wine territory for sure. Never had that Greek. Oh, I don't know what they call it in Greece. They have the same thing here in Romania. Pelin wine. It's definitely more popular in Greece. Like wine that's flavored with pine sap. Tastes like furniture cleaner. All right, then. So yeah, the options there: Labrador Retriever, Jack Russell Terrier, Cocker Spaniel, or Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So which of those is the most popular breed in the UK? Question two: when is the next sunrise at the true North Pole? So is it at 11:58 a.m. tomorrow? Will it be on February 2nd? Will it be on March 21st? Or will it be on April 10th? The next sunrise at the true North Pole. All right, question three. Which of the following has the most caffeine? A 30 milliliter shot of espresso, a 600 milliliter bottle of Diet Coke, a 300 milliliter cup of tea, or a 1 liter bottle of Kahlua? So you see what we're doing here. It's probably quite intuitive to guess which one has the highest caffeine concentration, but also they're in different volumes. Oh, so which has the most total caffeine? You're gonna have to try, and it's a bit of a guesser, really, a bit of a guesser. Whoa! We actually have someone in the chat who's drinking coffee liqueur right now. Well, you've got one quarter of the options for that question on hand. I don't know. You might not be drinking Kahlua. You might be drinking Tia Maria, for all I know, or a different brand of coffee liqueur. The quiz stream from triviamystery.com does not officially endorse any particular brand of coffee liqueur. And question four. What is the most common pub name in the UK and Ireland? For some reason, this stat, I looked it up from various sources, and they always seem to group the UK and Ireland together for this. Quite similar pub cultures, of course, although pub naming conventions quite different between the two countries. So this is basically, it's the most common pub name in the UK, and that has strongly weighted the answer. So your options are the Crown, the Royal Oak, the Red Lion, or the White Hart. Which of those is the most common pub name? Oh, port. Lovely. I love a bit of port. Jessica's not much of a fan, so can rarely justify the expense of a full bottle of port. I might get on some mulled wine soon. It's really getting into, I mean, obviously here on the continent, it's always mulled wine season, but question five. James Bond author Ian Fleming also wrote which popular children's story? Is that Dr. Dolittle, Mary Poppins, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, or One of Our Dinosaurs is Missing? So of those 4 children's stories that were all made into children's movies in like the 60s and 70s, which one was written by Ian Fleming? James Bond creator Ian Fleming. All right, I will run through all of those questions quickly one more time for anyone who's just joined us. Question 1 was, which of those 4 dog breeds is the most popular dog breed in the UK? Question 2, when is the next sunrise at the true North Pole? Not magnetic north, true north. They are far enough apart that that would affect the answer. Question 3, which has the most caffeine of those 4 volumes of liquid? Question 4, what's the most common pub name in the UK and Ireland? And question 5, which of those children's books was written by James Bond creator Ian Fleming? All right, so take a little think for a few seconds and then get your answers in. It's multiple choice, so usually this round goes quite quickly. Anyone need anything repeated? These general knowledge rounds can sometimes be a bit of a meat grinder. Maybe we should start with one of the All right, get those in. How's everyone doing? We're properly looking forward to Christmas now. I think it's close enough that it's legitimate to get pre-Christmas excitement. I've I booked my Christmas off, so that means I'm officially looking forward to it. Yum. And I stopped talking for a second there because it looked like my stream was really jittery, but I don't want to leave you here in silence. Yes, bitter balls. Always the. I'm sure that is. I've said that wrong, but I'm aware of them. There's actually a little Dutch cafe just about 10 minutes from our apartment that does them. Lovely. I bet you are, Alice. MSN. That's certainly a point of reference for streaming. All right. I think everyone's got their answers in, so we'll run through them. So let's have a look. The most popular dog breed in the UK is the Labrador Retriever, or as I call it, the classic dog. If there was like a EA Crafts like 2021 season, or the Elder Scrolls, the Canine Realms, or something like that, the default in the character creation menu would be a Labrador Retriever, wouldn't it? Just a default dog. The North Pole will not see the sun until March 21st, the vernal equinox, when it will experience its only sunrise of the year. Sun goes up, sun does not go down until September. 6 months of night followed by 6 months of day. Then the caffeine, it was volume over strength was the winner there. A bottle of Kahlua has about 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. So for comparison, a single shot, 30 ml shot of espresso is about 60 mils. Cup of tea is about 63. I mean, obviously, those vary depending on how you brew them, but it'd be pretty uncommon for them to get up to 100. And a bottle of Diet Coke, 600 ml bottle of Diet Coke is 77 milligrams. Obviously, that's a lot more standardized than a cup of tea in caffeine level. Diet Coke, significantly higher caffeine than regular Coke or Coke Zero. Don't know why. Maybe that's why some people have a distinct preference for Diet over Zero. But yeah, just the full liter, even with the low concentration in Kahlua, you get most caffeine in a bottle. Then the most common pub name in the UK and Ireland is the Red Lion, but that was the top four. It goes Red Lion, Royal Oak, the Crown, the White Hart from 1 to 4. But yeah, Red Lion's the most popular. And then Ian Fleming wrote Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. All right, so let's take a look at the scoreboard after the first round. You've still got MSN. It doesn't function anymore, does it? Oh boy! Now, usually we'll see a bunch of 2s and 3s coming out of the first round. So this is a surprise for me. We're running the full gamut from 0s on one end to a perfect 5 points from the Van Goghs, who won the last time that they entered, and they're setting themselves up for another strong run with a perfect opening round that's putting them out a nice strong lead over most of the other teams. It's a 2-point lead over the second place team, which, this is unprecedented early showing. All right, but there's still 7 rounds left to play, so anything can happen, including a 10-point round. We do like to sneak a 10-point round in there somewhere. All right, so invention conventions. What we've got for you here, we're going to give you the names of 5 different inventions, and you have to decide whether they were created in association with either the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, the Second World War, or the NASA and the space race. So just as a note, some of these inventions were around in some form or another before, but they weren't ever really developed for mass production, or they weren't commercially available, or they were basically unknown. The inventors died in obscurity or whatever, and so you with all inventions, you can always find, well, actually someone invented it 100 years before, but just he made one and no one cared. But they are either they debuted at the World's Fair, or they were developed during World War II, or they were developed by NASA. That's the general gist here. So the first one is the X-ray machine. So 1904 World's Fair, World War II, or the space race, the X-ray machine. So when we say NASA, obviously there's a bit of overlap with the organizations that went on to become NASA and stuff that was happening in World War II. So really we're thinking about the space race in the 50s and 60s. So you're really thinking about these inventions in terms of era. When did they come about? All right, the second one is the ballpoint pen. Was that the World's Fair, World War II, or NASA? Then question 3, in-ear thermometers. I hated them when I was a kid. A little cold bit of metal going in your ear, but they're often used on kids. Yeah, no thank you. Just stick it in my mouth. Question 4, infant incubators, little boxes for putting premature babies in. Question 5 is duct tape. Duct tape, duct tape. The debate still rages. But yeah, duct tape, let's say, was that the World's Fair, World War II, or NASA? So I think there may have been some jitters when I was going through number 4. So question 4 was infant incubator. Infant incubator, baby incubator for sick or premature babies, little box. You've seen them. Yeah. So each of these events have a lot of or things, concepts, organizations. They have a lot of things that were invented associated with them. Um, which, if there's something like the space race or World War II, you think, yeah, of course, those were events that lasted several years. What was number 4? One more time. All right. Infant incubator, baby incubator for premature babies. Yes, some adults could use one of our players had a mini. So I'm just going to look jittery, and I'll repeat as soon as the string comes down a second. All right, that looks good. So number 1 was the X-ray machine. Number 2 was the ballpoint pen. Number 3, in-ear thermometers. Number 4, infant incubator. And number 5, duct tape. Yeah, so no surprise that lots of stuff were invented during the multi-year periods of intense government industry and development that were the space race and World War II. But the World's Fair, 1904 World's Fair, was just seems like almost as much stuff came out of that. Very surprising. Yeah, but let's get those answers in and we'll see how you've all done. So as I said, a good rule of thumb with these, just try and think, are we thinking like late 19th, early 20th century? Are we thinking 30s and 40s? Or are we thinking 50s and 60s with these inventions? But there's a lot of stuff where you find out when it was invented and you think that's either surprisingly early or surprisingly late. Okay, I think everyone's in, so we'll go through the answers now. The first one, the X-ray machine, it debuted at the 1904 World's Fair. Actually, the inventor Dally, I don't have his first name here, but he brought a test version of the X-ray machine to the 1901 World's Fair, but he failed to test the machine when President McKinley was assassinated. So he had to wait a few years, did it in 1904. All right, then ballpoint pen was World War II. So some unsuccessful versions did exist beforehand, but Laszlo Biro, or Biro, like the pen, was licensed by the RAF because he basically was like, this is a pen that can write at altitudes. and so they were mass produced and sold to the RAF. And then after the war, its popularity exploded. Question 3, in-ear thermometers. So no normal thermometer can measure the temperature of stars. So NASA tried out infrared technology to do the job. And then capitalizing on that technology, a company invented an infrared sensor, stuck it in an oral thermometer, and used it to measure the amount of energy your eardrum gives off into the ear canal. Oral with an AU. It's very dumb that we have two homophonic words for pertaining to the mouth and pertaining to the ear. That's dumb. That's a dumb thing, English. Why do you do that? But yeah, it's star thermometers can also be used for eardrums. Then infant incubator was at the World's Fair. So to increase awareness of the benefits these units provided, they're actually invented a little bit beforehand, but they were displayed at the 1897, 1898, 1901, and 1904 World Fairs. Apparently, the incubators present at the 1901 World Fair were not large enough for President McKinley, and sadly, we're not able to save him. Then finally, question 5, duct tape was a World War II invention. So other fabric-based tapes existed under the name duct tape, but the product we know today, and the one which started the duct tape debate, which has the polyethylene back and a rubber-based adhesive, that became popular after the mother of two sailors wrote a letter to FDR asking him to consider a new type of tape that could help keep ammo boxes waterproof. So yeah, that's a World War II thing. So let's take a look at the scoreboard after our second round, see if the standings have changed at all. Okay, Van Gogh still with a 2-point lead out in front, 7 points there. Danskern with 5, Fast and Bulbous with 3, Trousers 3, Alice on 3, so several threes. Chapas, and I can't read those because a little speech bubble. There we got a couple of teams there, a couple of ones, and oh no, those zeros are just blank spaces. So we got a couple of teams on 1 as well. A lot of teams in tonight, good to see. So the Van Goghs keeping the lead, but a few people definitely within striking distance. Of course, plenty of time to close the gap. So round 3, final curtains. So in this round, I'll be giving you the names of 5 Hollywood stars, and you'll have to choose which was their final acting credit in their careers. So in some cases, obviously, movies can be released not in the order that they were filmed, or sometimes films just will never see the light of day. We're going to go with the last role that these actors shot or recorded. So in the order that they did it, in the lifetime of the actor, what was their last role? So first up, we've got Marlon Brando. And your options there are Big Bug Man, Superman Returns, The Godfather video game, or The Score. Yeah, oh, yeah, so, yeah, Jessica will recheck those scores if there was a scoring error. But yeah, Marlon Brando, Big Bug Man, Superman Returns, Godfather video game, or The Score. Then question 2, Cameron Diaz. So it was Cameron Diaz's final movie, Annie, Shrek Forever After, Bad Teacher, or My Sister's Keeper. Annie, Shrek Forever After, Bad Teacher, or My Sister's Keeper. Cameron Diaz has now been retired from acting for several years. Of course, there is the possibility she could return to acting. So all of these are true at time of quiz. All right, question 3. Gene Hackman, who also famously retired from acting, and so the same disclaimer applies here, but was his last movie Welcome to Mooseport, Heartbreakers, The Royal Tenenbaums, or Ants? Next up, Amanda Bynes, relatively short filmography, and was her final movie Hairspray, She's the Man, Easy A, or Love Wrecked? Hairspray, She's the Man, Easy A, or Love Wrecked? And our final star is Marilyn Monroe. Was her final movie The 7-Year Itch, The Misfits, Some Like It Hot, or Gentlemen Prefer Blondes? You should have the movies there in the answer sheets, so I'll just read for each question. So that's question 1. Those movies and roles Marlon Brando. Number 2, Cameron Diaz. Number 3, Gene Hackman. Number 4, Amanda Bynes. And number 5, Marilyn Monroe. Try to not go all dead actors. Yet. Some of these are pretty surprising. There's some I'd be surprised if people got. Okay, I think everyone's in, so we'll run through this. So first up, Marlon Brando. So generally people think of The Score as Marlon Brando's last movie, but the final role that he recorded was Mrs. Sauer in the unreleased animated movie Big Bug Man, which there's got to be a copy out there somewhere. And I had to see this movie. Just insane. It's like a animated, just really, really shitty looking, like kids superhero movie, but it's like a 2D cartoon. I don't know what was going on. Looked like, even for the time of like early 2000s, looked like all the poster and everything looks like shit. I mean, must have been some producer style scam, but yeah, I really want to find a copy of that movie. Cameron Diaz's final movie was the Annie remake. Gene Hackman, his last movie was Welcome to Mooseport. Amanda Bynes' final movie role was Easy A. And Marilyn Monroe's last movie was The Misfits. It was also Clark Gable's final movie role. He died just after production finished, and she died shortly after the movie was released. Yeah, a tough one. I think that was a tough round, but we do have a bit more of one of the fun media rounds coming up before the break, and it's a 10-pointer, so big bunch of points available before the intermission for everyone. Let's have a look at the scoreboard before we go into that, though. Was tightening up at the top. Van Gogh with 1, Dansken with 8. Sorry, Dansken with 7, Fast and Bulbous with 6. So top 3, one point between them. Trousers and Alice just behind with 4. So everyone's still pretty much the top 5 all within a single round's worth of points. So it's a 1-round flip is possible. And then Chapass and Cozy Kittens bringing up the rear. We still got more than half the quiz to go, so anything is possible. Yeah, and this was a concern I had when we brainstormed these quizzes together, and we're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea for a round. Oh, that sounds interesting. And then I started writing, and I was like, I feel like maybe we've gone a little bit too hard this week, but we'll see how it goes. I think we did we front loaded a lot of the hard stuff early on in the quiz. All right, that's a good one. There is, I think, one more really hard round right near the end, so that could throw a wrench in the plans of any comeback. But we do have we're getting to the squishy center of the quiz. All the kind of fun rounds are kind of clustered around the middle. So let's look at round 4. Opposites attract. In sense, everything's going jittery. I'm going to just wait a second. That's what happens when I switch from one form to another. All right, yeah, opposites attract. Track like song. So you obviously a dog and a cat. Those are opposite. Those are the opposite things. They are antonyms. Won't be hearing any different. And so in this week's installment of MJ and Jessica try to include a music round without getting a copyright strike, we've crudely mashed together clips from 2 songs playing over each other. So the songs are playing at the same time for each question. And you just have to give us the title of each song. The twist is that the titles of the 2 songs have opposite meanings to one another. So, for example, we might play Hello by Adele over the top of Bye 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 by NSYNC. I've put a pretty easy one as question 1 to help everyone get the hang of it. As always with these media rounds where you might want to rewatch or re-listen, the clips are embedded in the answer form, and we'll be giving you a short interval after this round to listen to them again and decide on your answers. Song titles only this week, because there's 2 songs per question, and I'm not doing a 20-point round, so don't go getting any notions. Yeah, just the song titles. That brings it up to a 10-point round for the 5 questions. Let's listen to the first one. Bit of an easy one up first. I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly. Why had to go? Bit of a problem with the sound there. We're going to try that again. Could you hear that? Because I couldn't hear it. But Jessica could. Oh, maybe yeah, it's possible that I just have my computer muted. Yeah, I think that's actually probably it. I think I just don't have my speakers turned on. Just want to check though. Can one person confirm that you could hear that in? You could hear it. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so I guess we'll say.
You never take advice.
Romeo loves Juliet. Juliet, she felt the same. When he put his arms around her, he said, Juliet, baby, you're my friend. I'll give it fever. When he kisses, fever without.
All right, so you get the gist there. I think that's that one isn't too difficult. All right, let's have a listen to number 2. Yeah, minor miscommunication there. That was number 3. I just didn't realize because I only just got my speakers working, so I didn't realize where we were in the order. But yeah, let's listen to number 4. All right, and then the last one. All right, so if you need to hear any of those again, they are embedded into the answer forms. So we're gonna start a short interval here. We won't be playing any music over the first couple of minutes of the break, just so you can listen, think about it, get your answers in. Yeah, and then we'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, guys, gonna stick the 30-second timer up now just for the last teams. So just hit submit on whatever you've got. It's better to get something in rather than nothing. All right, that is it. Hit submit if you haven't yet. Should be by question 5. So just hit next, so you get to the last one and hit submit. And we will run through the answers. Just gonna make sure everyone's in. Okay, no, we're still waiting for one team. Guys, if you've gone to the loo or to make a cup of tea or something, cozy kittens. Yeah, we thought we'd fixed that bug. Okay, last team's in. Some people were getting the bug where you can where it shows you on settle down, stream. You can do it. There we go. All right. Yeah, we noticed this when we were testing out the forms. That bug was cropping up, and it was kind of sometimes it was there, sometimes it wasn't. Don't worry, your answers have shown up on our end. We have been able to see your answers and grade them. But yeah, we thought we'd fix the thing where it wasn't showing them to you, but it's unfortunate that has affected some of you. Anyway, let's run through the answers. So we started off with a bit of an easier one to get. I think everyone will have gotten Yesterday by the Beatles. And what's the opposite of yesterday? Tomorrow is the song Tomorrow from Annie. So yesterday and tomorrow were the oppositely titled songs. You see how it works. All right, then. Question 2. The songs were Cold as Ice and Fever. Cold as ice, cold, fever, I'm hot. Those things are opposite. All right, then we had Shout by Tears for Fears. Shout, shout, let it all out. And Hush by Deep Purple. Yeah, that one was difficult to get. I had to make like 3 different versions of this one to get it past the auto copyright scanners. Just, Deep Purple got some really recognizable riffs. Then we had Angel by Shaggy and Demons by Imagine Dragons. I feel like if I've got the vibe of our audience right, it will be those more recent radio hits that will be causing trouble for people. I say recent, when that song probably came out like 6 years ago, but that's recent by my standards. And I'm talking about Demons. Obviously, I assume people did all right on Shaggy. That's from our time. All right, and then finally we had one from our era, Come Out and Play by The Offspring, and the opposite of playing is working. If you can't come out, you have to stay home. It's Work from Home by Fifth Harmony. Yeah, Fifth Harmony, we all know who they are. They're just like the Pussycat Dolls, except now. Yeah, so Work from Home and Come Out and Play was the last one. So let's see how the scores look after that. Screen, they might already be up here. Okay, Van Gogh holding on to their lead. Fast and Bulbous have caught up with Danskerner, tied on 12 points for second place. A 3 point lead that has been maintained pretty consistently. That's impressive, and pretty much like all the heavy lifting there was done in round one. So getting off to a good start really has been the difference maker in this game. And then we have Jessica doesn't like the phrase difference maker. When we watch sports, she hates when announcers say it. All right, so moving on to the first round in the second half. The man in the medical mask. In this round, I'll be showing you pictures of various celebrities responsibly wearing their COVID face masks. You just have to guess who it is behind each mask. The difficulty on this round definitely varies based on how conscientious each celeb is being about safeguarding public health. So we'll get started off with maybe someone with a little less regard for his fellow man. Let's have a look. Oh. Did you see that in the chat there, Jessica? One of the teams thinks there's points didn't get scored correctly, or they got scored but didn't get added. But anyway, there's our first celebrity. I'll say this is the most face that you see in any of them. And let's have a look at the second one. This is a slightly more standard wearing of a face mask. All right, let's have a look at picture number 3. Definitely the hardest if you're going purely on the visual aspect of the picture. Very bundled up. But maybe you've seen this picture in the news, maybe not. But there is a famous person under all those layers. All right, let's have a look at the next one. All right, let's have a look here. Anything recognizable? Let's try maybe visual cues not related to that face. I don't know if you can hear me. It looks like movement-wise, oh no, I'm moving again. Yeah, so think outside the box. How else can you guess who it might be behind that mask? All right, let's have a look at the last one, I think. All right, so last one, again, and a slightly more straightforward selfie here. Who is it? Who is taking that selfie? The face masks have been a boon to. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's it. So the last team to get in, we did receive your scores. but unfortunately, the scoreboard had not refreshed by the time I was reading off of it. But it will. It is. They are in. They're already in there. But they were added seconds before we went to the scoreboard. So yeah, it hadn't auto refreshed by the point we were seeing them. But you'll see them. It will be reflected in the next round. Answers in for. I am, of course, naturally blessed in eyebrow game, but I'm cursed with my giant glasses frames. You can never really appreciate them. Also, I do have lovely teeth, but another aspect of myself I can't revel in with mask life. I'm covering far too much of my face altogether. It's a disservice to the general public. It's a good thing I'm broadcasting myself every week. So we've got some very different levels of facial covering in that round. I definitely, for picture one, I do identify with the energy. And it adds a spot of humor to the round. I think we're just waiting on one team now, guys. So make your guesses and get them in. How's everyone else dealing with mask life? It's pretty routine by this point. I think just it's, to me, kind of in the, you know, keys, phone, wallet, aspirin, inhaler. That was my old pocket tap routine. Now I keep a mask by the door as well. It's just become very routine. It will feel weird in a post-COVID world. I mean, I'm looking forward to not wearing a mask because it really makes the glasses steam up. Anyone else experiencing that as the weather gets colder? Did Matt? So we went for our walk today. We tried to get a little bit of walking in every day, and it was, since it got colder, the first day that I didn't steam up because there was so much like cold wind that my breath was cold by the time it hit my glasses. Not the ideal solution. All right, is everyone in now? Okay, all are in. So I guess we'll look at the pictures again. I did not hunt down pictures of these people unmasked, but they're all famous people. You're familiar with their appearances. That's Ben Affleck taking a smoke break. That is a good point for those of us with a resting bitch face. It's helpful. Then after Ben Affleck, we had Reese Witherspoon. Just kind of, to me, I would. So apart from the next one, which was the really hard one, I'd say this is the hardest normal one because she turns out quite just like nondescript, isn't she? She's, I mean, obviously an attractive lady, but you can't see her face. She doesn't have many distinguishing features. All right, the next one. No way to tell who that is, really, unless you heard about it when the photo was posted. It's Naomi Campbell. Oh, I think the stream broke up a bit while I was explaining that. Yeah, it's Naomi Campbell. Not really any way to tell from the picture. She's extremely bundled up. So if you heard about this photo when it was posted, you would have known. But otherwise, I'd be very impressed if you got that. Number 4. So we've got the trademark hat and pinstripes. It's Janelle Monáe. And then the final one. I think you look at it, you think it's a Kardashian, but I don't have enough facial information to know which Kardashian. It's Kourtney. It's Kourtney, right? I'm pretty sure it's Kourtney. I knew when I wrote the question. I'm going to check my form. Yeah, it's Kourtney. Kourtney Kardashian. So let's see. Yeah, so I think everyone pretty much got Kardashian, but yeah, that was by design. That was my devious creation of a question. So let's have a look at the scoreboard after that. Making sure it's refreshed with the latest scores. Okay, Dansken slightly narrowing the gap, but Van Hoff's maintaining a 2-point lead. Then we have a kind of log jam with Fast and Bulbous, Cozy Kittens, and Chapass, all very close to one another, and all still well within striking distance with 3 rounds left to play. Towser's Trousers and Alice kind of falling into the back of the peloton. Yeah, well, they've all got the same surgeon, that's why. Anyway, let's go on to round 6. 5-minute drafts. So if you've ever glanced at your recommended video sidebar on YouTube, or if you're Facebook friends with your aunts, you're probably aware of life hack channels like 5-minute crafts. So usually their time and effort saving tips are extremely terrible or dangerous or just bizarre. So we're going to show you the opening of the Where Did the Soda Go style opening seconds of 5 different hacks. And you have to guess what happens next. So let's have a little wait for the stream to steady itself. Yeah, Cozy Kittens really pulling a bit of a Cornmax story from a couple of weeks ago, really surging through the ranks. Oh, Jessica didn't get the Where Did the Soda Go reference. It was like a thing, like a bunch of memes, quite old in internet years, of like making fun of infomercials where people are just very incompetent and don't know how to do very simple day-to-day tasks just to set up the situation where you would need the very specific product in the infomercial. And yeah, they set up these 5-minute crafts life hacks in a kind of similar vein. Let's have a look at the first video, and then that'll be the setup. You guess what happens next. So someone has got a small stain on their shoe. What makes the life hack to solve the problem of I'm in this computer. That's like you'll be glad to hear. got depth work that can take it to the sharp. Yeah, so small stain on the shoe. What's the appropriate reaction? So does she rub toothpaste on the stain to remove it? Does she glue Lego all over her shoes? Or does she cut her shoes up to make fingers for fingerless gloves? So, which of those, I mean, I'm sure you will have seen at least one of these videos before, and you know the kind of relationship they have with reality. All right, let's see clip number 2. Wrong clip. Oh, the tea is hot. The tea is hot. Oh, how will we deal with this problem? We all know the situation. You're pouring tea into a cup, and now the cup's hot. So what happens next? Does she wrap the cup in bubble wrap? Does she cut a hole in a tennis ball to use as a cup holder? Or does she glue a toy goat to the cup? So your options there. She wraps the cup in bubble wrap. She cuts a hole in a tennis ball to use as a cup holder. Or she glues a toy goat to the cup. Okay, clip number 3. Leg hair. Leg hair. Oh no. How to solve this problem? Definitely, there's no common ways of dealing with this situation. So, what does she do? Does she wax her legs with homemade candy? Does she burn her leg hairs off with a magnifying glass? Or does she rub a battery on her legs, which makes them smooth through the magic of video editing? So does she wax her legs with homemade candy? Does she burn her leg hairs off with a magnifying glass? Or does she rub a battery on her leg, making them smooth through the power of video editing? All right, clip number 4. All right, little dollops of toothpaste on some baking parchment. What happens next? Do they freeze the toothpaste balls and cover them in chocolate, like a tasty after dinner mint? Does she cover the toothpaste balls in baking soda and put them in a glass jar? Or does she bake the toothpaste balls to make Christmas tree ornaments? So freeze them and cover them in chocolate, cover them in baking soda and put them in a glass jar, or bake them to make Christmas tree ornaments. And let's see the final clip. It's cement that we're making with a food mixer, and dip your slice of bread in some cement. So, I mean, just almost skipping, just very matter of fact, of course you make the cement using like a handheld egg beater, and you dip some, just the attachment, not actually using the beater, just the attachment to it. Then you dip your slice of white bread in some cement. What happens next? Does she use the cement bread as a coaster? Does she use the cement bread as a roof shingle? Or does she use the cement bread as a chalkboard? So what does she do with cement bread? I think the videos for this are the videos for the Not sure about this. I don't. Jessica does all the tech stuff. Okay, they are. So you can rewatch, but probably this one's less of a thinker than the music rounds. So get your guesses in, and we'll see how you've done. Yeah, I mean, I do feel like these channels I think we've gone all with the same channel. 5 minute crafts is the name of the channel, but there's a bunch of them. There's Troom, similar. It's the same gimmick for all of these channels, but I feel like they're leaning more on just like people making reaction videos. They're relying on people being like, "Have you seen this? It's so dumb," and then people watch them because they're like, "This is so dumb. Who would watch this?" Like that's like the business model. I think we're just waiting on one team to get the answers in. Just vibe it out. I mean, maybe you've seen some of these specific videos before, even, in which case you definitely got a leg up. Although they do pump them out at a prodigious rate, so it'd be like finding a needle in a haystack. Although I think they do reuse the same ones over and over again. Like you'll see like 25 5-minute hacks for doing this or for doing that, and then you watch it and they just reuse the same ones over and over. Even in like compilations where the title just doesn't make sense. Yeah, Jessica was tempted to make it entirely cement based because they use cement a lot. All right, so I think that's everyone in now. So we'll see the complete clips. Let's see number one. So small discoloration of the shoe. The rational response is to glue Lego over the entire surface of the shoe. This is the proportionate response to that common event. Your light colored shoe being slightly discolored in a like the size of a 2p piece. Yeah, cover the whole thing in Lego. All right, we spray paint a toy goat white and we glue it onto a cup. That's normal. That's what you should do. That's how to drink tea. Next one. What you should do. Yeah, don't put hot sugar in your. Oh, I think that sounds fun. Can you hear me now? Yeah. I'm going to say, just officially putting a safety warning on our trivia stream, don't put hot sugar near your skin. Never do that. All right, let's see the fourth one. Yep, toothpaste on baking parchment, cover it in baking soda, put it in an alchemist's vial, and now you can just brush your teeth on the go. Just pop it in mouth. Almost as useful as a travel-sized tube of toothpaste. And let's see the final one. Cement bread. Put your bread in the cement. And now It's a coaster. Just that's the only way. Coaster hacks. That's the thing we need. It's not like you can just make a coaster out of a bit of cardboard. And let's see how everyone's. Wow, the backups, they are absolutely having a dominant evening. 4 point lead. Very good stuff there. Dansgun and on 18 points, Fast and Bulbous on 16, then Chapas, Cozy Kittens, Tows's Trousers, Alice, all within 1 or 2 points of each other, like from going down the list. So everyone's kind of falling into a little train leading up to the leaders who've kind of broken away from the pack. Definitely still time to catch up for 1 or 2 teams. But this is the first time in over a month that we've really seen a runaway success like this. And well, this one's going to be a bit of a randomizer though. This round, it could all come undone because this is going to be one of those rounds where you're basically just guessing. So in this round, we're going to ask you to estimate the size of various objects, places, things. But the only catch is you're going to have to answer in old-timey units. So, for instance, in the name of the round, a butt is an old unit of volume, equivalent to about 491 liters. So if I asked how many butts can a blue whale filter in a single bite, the answer would be about 160 butts. So question 1, how many scruples does a standard-sized Toblerone weigh? How many scruples? I'll give a slight hint. Scruples is an old jeweler's unit of weight. So when I say a standard-sized Toblerone, I'm talking like an airport Toblerone, not the mini ones that they have just like next to the Mars bars. That is a mini Toblerone. So we want a standard airport Toblerone. How many scruples does that weigh? Scruples are an old jeweler's unit of weight. Okay, question 2. How many hands tall is Kevin Hart? Oh, actually, I'll run through the options there, even though you can see them. So your options there for scruples in a Toblerone: 3, 14, 181, or 309. And question 2, how many hands tall is Kevin Hart? So hands, an old-timey unit of length, still used in the present day to measure the height of horses. So is he 8 hands, 16 hands, 20 hands, or 35 hands? Then our third one, how many fathoms are between the bases in baseball? Fathoms are an old-timey unit of distance, commonly used in like a nautical setting. How many fathoms between the bases in baseball? Baseball diamond, all the bases are equidistant. Obviously, from the subsequent base, obviously, geometry does not allow home and second to be equidistant to like home and first. Yeah, the bit that you have to run is how many fathoms? 1, 6, 15, or 40? Next one. This is, I've written the answers with a degree of precision, but they're quite far apart because it wouldn't actually be this precise, because caricate is an old unit of area, and the way that units of area were calculated back in those days was subject to a little fluctuation. But how many caricates is the surface area of Lake Geneva? 44, 199, 501, or 2,103? You may as well just say, 40, 200, 500, or 2,100. How many caricates is the surface area of Lake Geneva? And the final one, how many hogsheads of fuel would a Toyota Prius need to drive from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok at average mileage? So St. Petersburg in the far west of Russia, Vladivostok in the far east of Russia, essentially the length of like Asia. A hogshead, an old unit of volume, and we're talking beer hogsheads, not wine hogsheads, because those were different for some reason. So yeah, a standard hogshead or beer hogshead. How many hogsheads of fuel to cross Russia? 1, 2, 5, or 10? Tetrahedron. I know what a tetrahedron is. A Toblerone is not a tetrahedron. Toblerone is a triangular prism. A four-sided die is a tetrahedron. Big Toblerone do just taste better. You gotta really like bite into them. It's a real chunk. I tell you what, I had that. So, seeing as the topic of Toblerones has come up, I did boycott Toblerones for the period of time where they changed the weight without changing the size of the packaging, so that the triangles were slightly further apart. Because, first of all, aesthetically disgusting, looked gross, didn't look good at all. Mechanically terrible, because when you break a Toblerone, you just pinch two adjacent little triangle bits together. I guess irregular tetrahedrons. No, it would be no, they're like square bottom pyramids each section, and it doesn't work when they're further apart. And, it just, so I boycotted them, and that change only lasted for like 2 years. But during that 2 year span was when me and Jessica visited the Matterhorn. They've got like a Toblerone gift shop at like the top. Not of the Matterhorn, but like the like next mountain over where Zermatt is, where you like look at the Matterhorn and go, oh, it's like Toblerone, isn't it? And it really makes you fancy a Toblerone. But I was boycotting them, so I couldn't have a Toblerone while I looked at the Matterhorn. It was hard times. And then they changed it, and I could eat Toblerone again. Okay. In the Netherlands, we measure the height of a bicycle in stroopwafels per tulip. Okay, guys, two more teams to come in. Oh, one more. This one, bit of a randomizer. Keeps things interesting going into the home stretch. You are essentially just guessing 5 times in a row. There are like, you can kind of eliminate some of the answers, but yeah, it's a tough one. Unless you're very, very knowledgeable about old-timey units and just the size of things that you would not really expect anyone to know the size of. So, are we still waiting on one, Jessica? And let's run through the answers. So, how many scruples does a standard size Toblerone weigh? So the standard size is the 400-gram Toblerone, which is about 309 scruples. A scruple is just over a gram, used for like measuring gold and silver. Also, apothecaries used it as well, I think. Okay, next. How many hands tall is Kevin Hart? Kevin Hart's 5'4", which is 16 hands. A hand is like, I don't know, someone else can convert. He's 16 hands tall anyway. Next, we've got, yeah, so 4 inches, I think. That would be right, yeah. So how many fathoms are between the bases in baseball? So there's 90 feet between each base, so a fathom is 6 feet. So that's 15 fathoms. Then caracates. Caracates about equivalent to 580 square kilometers. This was a very old-timey way of measuring land. So an acre was supposed to be the amount of land that an ox, like that, and then it was like extended beyond that. If you had a pair of oxen, or if you had a team of, I think a team of 8 got you a caracate. So anyway, it did get caracates did eventually get standardized and about 580 square kilometers. So you'd get about 44 of those into the surface of Lake Geneva. Obviously, lakes surface size can change depending on the water level, but yeah, about 44, the lowest number there. And finally, how many hogsheads of fuel would a Toyota Prius need to drive from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok at average mileage? So a hogshead is about 52.5 gallons. So it would take about 106 gallons to go from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok in a Prius. So that's 2 hogsheads of fuel. That is a perfectly valid way of doing it, and I'm sure you got at least a couple from doing it that way. At least one. I tried to distribute. Oh wait, no, it randomizes the answers in the tab, doesn't it? Well, you got yeah, this is so I did warn to get hard again towards the end. We're no longer in the squishy center. We are back in the tough bread of the stale trivia sandwich. All the delicious peanut butter is long behind us. And that takes us on to the final round. Let's see how things stand going into it. Oh, things have closed up a little bit going to the final round. It's definitely two teams playing for the championship here. The Van Goghs looking to retake their title of 2 weeks past. Dansken, the only real challengers to that title, barring an absolute catastrophic failure on both of their parts and a perfect round from Fast and Bulbous. That would see it end in another tiebreaker. And the other teams, well played. They're out of contention, but they're all tied on 14 points. So there's still pride to play for the remaining teams. So let's get on to the final round. And once again, it's general knowledge with a slight Advent flavor. So question one, which of the following saints' days is not traditionally associated with the Christmas season and Advent? St. Andrew's Day, St. Stephen's Day, St. Nicholas's Day, or St. Martin's Day? So in just Christian tradition, Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, Anglican, all of these days have some degree of significance. Three of them, that significance traditionally relates to the Advent season. One of them it does not. All right, question two. Which of the following is not a real Advent calendar? Or like, which of these things can you not get in an Advent calendar? So, pork scratchings Advent calendar, baked beans Advent calendar, condom Advent calendar, or Funko Pops Advent calendar. Which one isn't real? So yeah, three of those are real things you can get. Which one is not real? Pork scratchings, baked beans, condoms, or Funko Pops. It was actually really hard to find something that you can't get in Advent calendar form. So again, true at time of quizzing. I'm sure that even the ones that are, or even there's only one that isn't, but even that will surely be an Advent calendar sooner or later. Then number three, in Western Christian tradition, so we're getting a bit religious in this round. Advent wreaths have 4 candles, one of which is lit on each Sunday of Advent. So you've seen a wreath. Obviously, there's wreaths you put on your door, and then there's the wreaths with 4 candles on them. So usually 3 are purple and 1 is pink. But which Sunday of Advent is the pink candle lit upon? Is it the first Sunday, the second Sunday, the third Sunday, or the fourth Sunday of Advent when the pink candle is lit? Question 4 in this round. It is Advent, but it's also the first day of Hanukkah, I think, or it's tomorrow. It's around now. So, in what unusual location did Jeffrey Hoffman spin a dreidel on Hanukkah in 1993? Was it at the South Pole, the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea, on the space shuttle, or on a super-cooled magnetic levitation device? That may be misspelled on the form. I've just noticed I've misspelled it on my script. And presumably it just got copied and pasted. That was my misspelling, not Jessica's. Unless she's corrected it, in which case, thank you, Jessica, for proofreading. Levitation, not leviation. That's not a word. Yeah, that's that little Hanukkah one there. Where was the dreidel spun? By Jeffrey Hoffman. And then question 5. Which popular video game was the source material for a 2005 spin-off movie subtitled Advent Children? Is that Banjo-Kazooie, Earthbound, Final Fantasy VII, or The Legend of Zelda? So which one of those games had a spin-off movie with the subtitle Advent Children? So name of game, Advent Children. And that's it. That is the last question. Last question. Anyone need anything repeated from that last one? Probably. Been a while. Well, someone saw it in the cinema. I did not go to the cinema. Yeah, it's not good. I have seen this movie. Didn't see it in the cinema. Just waited to watch it on home release. Yeah. You don't understand the first. Is to calm down. Those are 4 saints' days in the Christian calendar. 3 of them traditionally fall within Advent and are celebrated as part of the run-up to Christmas. One of them does not. They're all kind of like significant saints' days, but only 3 of them are Advent-related saints' days. Advent being the period of, depending on what kind of Christian you are, like 4 weeks to 60 days before Christmas. No, wait. 4 weeks to 6 weeks, not 60 days. 6 weeks for Orthodox Christians, 4 weeks for like Catholics and Anglicans and stuff. But yeah, I think these saints' days are significant to all those branches of Christianity. So I think most people are in. And we will see if we're getting a second, well, it's not consecutive in trivia streams, but in trivia streams, yeah, within the Advent period, and like we're extending out to like the Orthodox Advent periods, but I think they're generally considered Advent related to all branches of Christianity. Yeah, so this wouldn't be a second consecutive victory technically, but they did have a week off. So could it be 2 on the trot for the Van Goghs? Will they be pipped at the post? Could we see another tiebreaker? It is exciting. I think we're still just waiting on 2 teams. Okay, everyone is in. So let's run through those answers. Question 1, St. Martin's Day happens in early November. It's sometimes called Old Halloween. Kind of got Halloweeny type traditions associated with it. So that's the answer. St. Nicholas's Day, St. Stephen's Day, St. Andrew's Day, all Christmassy. St. Andrew's Day, often kind of considered the start of Advent. St. Nicholas's Day, celebrated in like most of continental Europe as a day of like preliminary gifts giving. Just past, it was on Sunday, I think. So probably the Dutch team here probably knew that one. And St. Stephen's Day is like Boxing Day, basically. And then St. Martin's Day, it's like a Halloween, just after Halloween. So a lot of pagan Halloween traditions kind of got associated with that one. Then the only one that you cannot currently get as an advent calendar is baked beans. So there are multiple pork scratching, pork rind ones. You can get one where it's pork rinds and beer. Condoms you can get in an advent calendar. Funko Pops you can get, like specifically a Nightmare Before Christmas Funko Pops advent calendar. Yeah, I just Googled so many things with the words advent calendar afterwards to see if they have an advent calendar, and like everyone was very surprised at that point to see baked beans did. If they do, they need a SEO guy because it didn't show up with several scrolls of Googling. So yeah, baked beans was the answer there. Definitely, there's got to be one in the future, right? You can make so many variations on baked beans. Baked beans with little hot dogs in. Do like curry baked beans, barbecue baked beans, cheesy baked beans. This writes itself. I should work in the baked bean industry, really. Okay, then you light the pink candle on the third Sunday of Advent. Jeffrey Hoffman spun a dreidel on the space shuttle Endeavour. He was part of the mission to repair the Hubble telescope, and that was up over Hanukkah. And question 5, Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. That was the answer there. It's I don't know if we've got any Final Fantasy fans or people who played the game back in the late 90s. But in 2005, the movie came out. It's like 5 years after the events of the game. It sucks. Don't watch it. It's no good. Oh no. Yes, we got a space question in there. Did my camera just cut out for a second? I'm getting weird notifications from it. Too bad that our continental Europeans didn't. Well, I guess there were other ones in there that might be less familiar. Festivus. Well, you can air your grievances about some of these trivia questions in the comments, if you please. But that should give us the final scores anyway. Let's see how they are. Oh, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. We have another tie break. So, Danskan and the Van Goghs on 24 points each. Before we go on to the tie break, let's just run through the rest of the scores. So, Fast and Bulbous, again, just missing out on the tie break scenario. Cozy Kittens in 19, respectable showing there. Chapas 1 point back on 18. Towers' Trousers on 16. And Alice seems to have dropped off there at the end. 11 points. Was holding strong with the peloton for most of the game, but that those general knowledge rounds can be a bit of a challenge. I can see no one really scored particularly highly on them. But that does mean it's time for another tiebreaker. I think our fourth in 5 weeks. So in the chat, you'll see a link. Anyone who wants to guess is free to. You can copy and paste that link into your browser and have a guess at the tiebreaker. But it will just be between the Van Goghs and Danske. So just going to load up this tiebreaker. All right. So are both of our tiebreak teams ready? Gladiators, are you ready? I didn't do that impression very well, but British viewers will get it. Good enough to be got. So thumbs in the chat, or like okay, or anything in the chat. Once the Van Goghs and Danskerne are ready, it's Denmark versus the Netherlands. Not quite neighbors. Either side of Germany rivalry. Yeah, just let us in and we'll ready. Everyone's ready. Sorry if I'm repeating myself a bit. I think there's like a 20-second delay from like going between like you hearing me and me seeing your replies. But I see that both our teams are ready to play the tiebreaker. So let's hear it. So in April this year, The Invisible Man became the lowest grossing movie to top the US box office since 1982. How much money did it gross in that week? So in April this year, The Invisible Man became the lowest grossing movie to top the US box office since 1982. How much money did it gross that week? So that was peak of first wave. Most theaters were closed, but some apparently were still open. So how much money did The Invisible Man make at the box office to become the top grossing movie in the US back in late April of this year? The lowest grossing movie to top the US box office since 1982. So how much money was that? I mean, there's definitely like Copenhagen and Amsterdam have obviously you can see obviously all the kind of North Sea, Baltic Sea coastal cities have that architectural style, and it's definitely the vibes. The vibes are in the same zone. I think we've got both of our answers in, and the movie in 1982 was E.T. This was back in the days when you only had like 2 or 3 movies out at a time, and E.T. was in like its 20th week. No one was like releasing any movies to go against E.T. So the first, let's hear what people guessed, and then we'll reveal the answer. So the first team in was Danskerne. They guessed $5 million. And the Van Goghs guessed $42,000. So a pretty big split there. And let's see what the actual total was. The answer was, oh, yeah, $36,600. So even lower than our low end guess. That means that the Van Goghs have their second win in 3 weeks. Great job, guys. Actually, stunningly close guess, within a few thousands. Yeah, not a lot of people going to theaters in right at that first peak. Still obviously enough to spend tens of thousands of dollars. But yeah, most of them were closed. Well played. Obviously, 5 million would be a super low grossing box office topper as well. But yeah, it was even lower. Team. Chop again. All right, and we're back. Okay, yeah, valiant effort from Dan Skerner to bring it back for the tiebreaker. The local cinema anyway still has the poster up for The Invisible Man. Memories of a bygone era. Yeah, I mean that's how these tie breaks work, isn't it? Like it could be anything, and you do worry like, oh, I've got way too high, or I've gone way too low. But yeah, no, very very low haul there. Because the thing that would have thrown me off, I probably would have gone in the millions based on, oh, how much were movies making in the 80s? Like that part of the question would have thrown me off. But you did it. Second victory. Well done, guys. Great job to Dan Skerner as well. And to everyone else who played. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah, great fun as always. I'll let you all get off. It's like getting. I've taken you past 10 o'clock if you're playing in GMT, so I don't want to keep you all night. And yeah, thank you. We appreciate all of you as well. You make this so much fun for both of us. Love to see you here. Tell your friends. Get people involved. The more the merrier. Um, yeah, I had a lot of fun, and as you can see, when we get like more teams in, there's a bit more churn. It can be, yeah, it's we'll turn the difficulty down a bit for next week, and we'll definitely have a Christmas special coming around Christmas time. All right, see you next time, guys. Bye.